Tonight, the unsealing of court documents and names linked to notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
This has been a better kept secret than nuclear launch codes.
What's on the pages kept hidden until now? Twin blasts in Iran, dozens killed, hundreds injured, and a vow of revenge. Overcapacity and understaffed. Canadian hospitals strained by sickness.
A hallway literally laced with patients.
Plus, the universal appeal of the year's first meteor shower.
The quads really are worth staying up for.
And taking aim at the world of darts. The 16-year-old phenom hitting the mark and making history.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina.
Good evening, everyone, and great to be back with you. A New York federal court judge has started to unseal hundreds of pages of documents in the case of a sex offender who had links to some of the world's richest and most powerful people. CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Joy Malbin on what the Jeffrey Epstein filings are revealing.
When disgraced sex offender Jeffrey Epstein died in prison in 2019, many thought he'd take his secrets with him. But a New York judge ordered hundreds of court records associated with Epstein be unsealed. More than 150 Jane and John Doe's witnesses and associates like Bill Clinton. He's not accused of wrongdoing, but in the court documents, an alleged victim was asked about the former president. Did Jeffrey ever talk to you about Bill Clinton? He said one time that Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. Clinton has denied knowledge of Epstein's sex crimes. Prince Andrew is also named in the unsealed documents. Epstein instructed Jane Doe No. 3 that she was to give the prince whatever he demanded.
This has been a better kept secret than nuclear launch codes.
The documents, part of a lawsuit filed by one of Epstein's more outspoken victims, Virginia Giuffre. She sued Epstein's partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, for trafficking her when she was just a teenager. She settled out of court with Prince Andrew in 2022.
What does justice look like to you now? Justice now is holding accountable the perpetrators that helped him and participated with him.
There's been all sorts of speculation on social media what celebrities might be revealed in these court documents, and it's led to some nasty and false accusations, including this by quarterback Aaron Rodgers on ESPN.
A lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't.
Raping young women not funny, says comedian Jimmy Kimmel, who fired back in a post threatening to sue the NFL star, saying your reckless words put my family in danger.
Many of the high-profile names in these court documents have been made public already. It may be embarrassing, but no one's being accused of any crimes tonight. Omar?
All right, Joy, thank you. One of the names mentioned in the documents is Donald Trump, who has taken his battle to run for U.S. president again to the Supreme Court. The leading Republican candidate wants Colorado's decision to remove him from the ballot overturned. Trump was disqualified for his role in the January 6th riots in 2021. His appeal comes a day after he challenged a similar decision in Maine. The challenges in Canada's healthcare system appear to be worsening. The new year is bringing new urgency to the crisis as hospitals are struggling to keep up with a surge in COVID and RSV patients. And in the country's largest province, one union is warning the staffing shortage is so dire, the system is at a, quote, breaking point. CTV's Sarah Plowman reports.
All seems calm outside Chalmers Hospital, but inside.
Overcrowded waiting rooms and a hallway literally laced with patients.
New Brunswickers were warned, avoid the ER if you can, but Mike Barrett's mother broke her hip last night and had to go. Tim Brooks went to the hospital last week with pneumonia and stayed for 5 days.
The first thing I noticed was chaos. And I noticed that this place is more full than it should be.
As respiratory viruses spread, it means more patients and fewer staff. Hospitals like this one in Caraquet, New Brunswick are over capacity A similar story in Quebec as its ERs surge past 100% capacity. In Winnipeg and Vancouver, wait times range from 8 to 12 hours. In Calgary, paramedics are burnt out because of higher call volumes. Not enough staff means shifts are unfilled. Ontario healthcare workers warn they're near a breaking point.
I don't know when this is ever going to get better, and I know a lot of nurses feel that way and have left the profession.
Today, a union representing Ontario hospital workers released a survey. It found 2 in 5 workers have thought about quitting, about the same number dread going to work. None of this surprises this emergency physician.
People don't mind hard work. This is what we signed up for. This is what we want to do. It's hopeless work is the issue. And these decisions, these resource crunches take a toll.
The union wants Ontario to up the number of full-time workers and mandate minimum staff to patient ratios like BC. The Ford government points out how some of the highest paid nurses are in Ontario. Here in New Brunswick, people with non-urgent needs who go to the emergency room are being encouraged to call their doctor or go to a walk-in clinic first. Omar.
All right, Sarah, thanks. A woman in BC serving a life sentence for murdering her daughter has died in prison. Lisa Batstone was convicted for smothering 8-year-old Tegan with a plastic bag in 2014. Batstone's former husband and Tegan's father says he is not mourning.
But at the end of the day, Tegan is dead, right? Tegan has passed, and we will never get the joy of that beautiful 8-year-old girl. There's no joy to be found, but there is relief, and there's a sense of comfort.
The Correctional Service says it is reviewing the circumstances of Batstone's death. Turning to Iran now, where there are increasing fears deadly explosions there could lead to a new flashpoint in a region ravaged by war. No one has claimed responsibility for the twin blasts, set off 15 minutes apart, that Iran says killed at least 95 people. The panic broke out during a memorial procession for Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, seen as the most powerful figure in the country until he was killed in a 2020 drone strike ordered by then U.S. President Donald Trump. The double bombings appear to be the deadliest militant attack in decades. CTV's Vanessa Lee on the geopolitical repercussions.
The 2 bombs exploded minutes apart in the middle of the afternoon, setting off fear and grief across the country. It happened as massive crowds gathered at a memorial for Qasem Soleimani. He was Iran's most powerful military commander and was killed 4 years ago by a U.S. drone strike. The blasts have left at least 95 people dead and more than 200 others injured. It's the deadliest attack in the Islamic Republic since the 1979 revolution. Iran's President Ebrahim Raisi warning the perpetrators, in exchange for this horrifying crime, you will pay a high price. So far, no one has claimed responsibility. Local officials say 2 bags containing explosives were detonated by remote control along the road leading to the cemetery. Iran is calling it a terrorist act. The country has in the past blamed Israel for attacks within its borders, but there has been no indication of any foreign involvement.
The United States was not involved in any way, and any suggestion to the contrary is ridiculous. And number 2, we have no reason to believe that Israel was involved in this explosion.
Experts say there are a number of possibilities of who could be behind the assault, including ISIS and separatist groups, which have struck civilians in the past. The country has also seen mass protests in recent years. The death of Mahsa Amini in 2022 sparked widespread dissent across the country.
For this to happen today in Iran is, I think, a major security breach.
Iran has declared tomorrow a national day of mourning, as its leaders promise the attackers will be identified and punished. Omar.
All right, Vanessa, thank you. The blasts in Iran come a day after a drone strike in Lebanon that killed a top leader of Hamas, who was a key link to its ally Hezbollah. Israel has neither confirmed nor denied its involvement. But there are fears the strike could delay the release of remaining hostages. Israel confirmed today Sahar Baruch, a 25-year-old taken by Hamas, was killed during a failed rescue operation last month. Here's CTV's Heather Wright.
La ilaha illallah. In the occupied West Bank, demonstrators chanted and waved Hamas flags, protesting the assassination of Salah al-Aruri, a key Hamas strategist who was killed in a drone strike in Lebanon.
He's one of their warrior cast, if you will, and getting him off the chessboard is considered a blow to the military capabilities of the movement.
Al-Aruri was a key link between Hamas and Gaza and Iran's network of groups in the region, including Hezbollah. If Al-Aruri is gone, this man says, 1 million others will emerge stronger than him. His death is leading to mounting fears of an even broader regional conflict and for the fate of the hostages still held in Gaza. Lior Perry's father is among them, and he worries this assassination will derail hostage negotiations.
I don't know who's in charge and who's giving the order, but he's definitely not thinking about the hostage negotiation.
Israel has neither confirmed nor denied their involvement in al-Aruri's killing, but said it is prepared for any scenario that unfolds. This conflict has already expanded far beyond Gaza to Israel's northern border with Lebanon, to the West Bank, and to the Red Sea, where the Houthis continue to attack cargo ships. In Gaza, more airstrikes today, with at least 3 reportedly killed when a building was hit in Rafah in the south. In central Gaza, rescue workers rushed to a refugee camp that was hit this morning. What is going on has to end, Musa Al-Alul says. It can't stay like this.
Today, Canada, the United States, and others issued a joint statement calling for an end to the Houthis' attacks on cargo ships, warning if they continue, they will, quote, bear the consequences, though it's not clear what exactly those consequences might be. Omar.
All right, Heather, thanks. And back here at home, Toronto police are investigating a fire at a deli as a possible hate crime.
I think it's just abhorrent, disgusting. It's just a criminal act.
Flames erupted at the site of the Jewish-owned business early this morning. Investigators say windows were smashed and Free Palestine was written on its doors. And what appear to be gas cans were found on the roof. International Deli Foods is also known as IDF, the same acronym as the Israeli Defense Forces. No one was injured in the fire. Also this morning in New Jersey, an imam was gunned down outside his mosque. Hassan Sharif was in his car when he was shot, though investigators say there is no evidence of a hate crime at this point.
It does not appear that the imam was a victim of a biased crime or that this is related to terrorism.
But authorities say they have stepped up outreach of places of worship since the Israel-Hamas war began. A rare moment of cooperation between Russia and Ukraine. The warring countries have agreed to their first prisoner exchange in almost 5 months. Ukrainian authorities say 230 prisoners of war have returned home, while 248 Russian servicemen have been freed in a deal brokered by the United Arab Emirates. It's the largest single release of POWs since the war began. And there are new clues tonight into the fiery plane collision at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. Records show red lights meant to stop pilots from taxiing on the runway were out of service at the time of the crash. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the latest on the investigation.
On the side of what should be a busy Tokyo runway rests the charred remnants of Japan Airline Flight 516 after it burst into flames yesterday. A jarring sight now being combed over by investigators.
As an accident investigator, my focus is on what happened much longer ago, on how the two aircraft came to collide, and the moments up until all those who could be saved were saved.
A clue about what may have caused this crash comes from the communications with the control tower. In the moments before, air traffic control says to the Japan Airlines pilot, JAL 516, runway 34R, cleared to land. The Airbus pilot repeats, cleared to land, runway 34R. Air traffic control then moves on, telling the Coast Guard plane to taxi to holding point C5. The Coast Guard repeats, taxi to holding point. But for some reason, that Coast Guard plane instead ends up on the runway, right in the path of the incoming Airbus, triggering a collision.
You felt the airplane was not in a normal position, was like bending on the front.
They were on the active runway. The question is, was that done in error, or was that done because they misinterpreted the conversation from the tower?
Another clue is likely to come from the plane's black boxes, which record conversations between the pilots. So far, only one has been recovered. And while Japan is mourning the loss of 5 people in the Coast Guard plane, analysts say it's incredible all 379 people escaped the jetliner alive.
When they do practice evacuation drills, they want to have hundreds of people off an aircraft in under 2 minutes, and it certainly sounds like that was the case.
A representative from Canada's Transportation Safety Board will participate in the Japan-led investigation, given that one of the planes involved, Omar, was made by the Canadian company Bombardier.
All right, Annie, thank you. Coming up.
Big moments for him.
The teen prodigy shaking up the competition in darts, plus a stellar light show. How to catch the year's first meteor shower. A major rescue operation is underway on a highway in Sweden. Up to 1,000 cars were stuck after a major snowstorm. Temperatures have plunged to -40 in some parts. And harsh flooding has hit Western Europe, killing at least 1 person. In northern France, emergency crews had to rescue people trapped in their homes. Many areas of Germany have also been hit hard. Several rivers have burst their banks. And a fearless British teen has burst onto the scene and darted to the top of his game. Today, he took aim at history in the World Championship final. Here's CTV's Bill Fortier.
Luke the Nuke. Don't let the facial hair fool you. Luke Littler is only 16, and he's taking the world of darts by storm.
I know I've got a good chance, and I know in myself I've got a good feeling that I can go all the way now.
Oh yes, Luke Littler! Today, Littler became the youngest player ever in a World Darts Championship final after beating a former world champ in the semis.
There is no sign of this teenage dream coming to an end.
He's become a huge fan favorite, receiving messages of good luck from his beloved Manchester United soccer club, and these rugby players from Littler's favorite club even came to London to support him.
Never in a million years I think he'd get this far, but you can see the raw talent in him.
He's such a talent, and it's been nothing but great stuff from him every time you see him pick up a set of darts.
Tristan Dove is a former Canadian national youth champion. He says the buzz around the young superstar's success is good for the game.
I'm hoping that we see a lot more kids actually start coming through to youth leagues and them building themselves back up again.
When Littler was littler, he already had a knack for the game, playing with a magnetic set as a toddler.
You're going to get me a 180? What?
Obviously, all kids love football. They want to be a professional. Not everyone gets the opportunity to be a footballer, so I chose darts, and it's all paid off.
Members of his home club in the small English town of St. Helens say his talent was always evident.
He was averaging stupid averages that you should be like 16 to 20 years old, but he was doing it at 10, so he was special then.
You could definitely see what everyone's saying about a natural talent.
Today he lost the final to #1 ranked Luke Humphries.
But right now, the world of darts belongs to these two.
A setback for the 16-year-old rising star, but he has an entire career ahead of him, and already Littler is bigger than he could have imagined. Bill Fortier, CTV News, Edmonton.
Still ahead, another teen sensation.
Oh my God!
Putting all the pieces together to beat the unbeatable video game. The ever-likable Mickey Mouse is about to get a whole lot scarier after an expired copyright.
Gina, turn around, please, Gina!
Disney's most famous cartoon character has landed a new role, horror movie villain. Just hours after the 1928 Mickey Mouse cartoon Steamboat Willie entered the public domain, the trailer for a new slasher flick called Mickey's Mousetrap dropped on YouTube. With the end of exclusive legal rights, anyone can use the early version of Mickey. And a 13-year-old boy from Oklahoma using the original version of Tetris has done what was believed to be impossible. Willis Gibson beat the game, something that's only been achieved before by artificial intelligence. Great reaction. He says he plays the game about 20 hours a week at such a high level, he sometimes can't feel his fingers. The city of Toronto is racing to reverse an embarrassing slip-up along its cycling path.
Sounds like too much spell check.
The city's waterfront trail was misspelled as Lakeshore Trail, and on another sign, Lake Share Trail. The city blames human error in the proofreading process. It has apologized and is taking down the misspelled signs. After the break, 2024's first celestial show of lights to brighten your night. This winter's best meteor shower peaks tonight, and if you're lucky enough, you'll catch a glimpse of some of the bright lights. But if you don't, CTV's Alison Bamford has more reasons to keep your eyes on the skies this year.
The first meteor shower of the year is reaching its peak and could bring more than 100 bursts of light shooting across the sky every hour.
Meteor showers are just little bits of dust hitting the upper atmosphere and they're turning into shooting stars. Best that you get away from city lights because they're pretty faint.
The quadrantids are one of 3 major meteor showers that take place each year, followed by the Perseids in August and the Geminids in December.
The quads really are worth staying up for because of the intensity of the shower.
But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Experts say this year's biggest astronomical event is expected April 8th. A total solar eclipse will pass through Mexico, the United States, and 5 Canadian provinces, including the Niagara region, Montreal, and the Maritimes.
You notice the temperature go down, you notice like flowers closing up and birds quieting down like they're about to fall asleep, and animals will think it's nighttime.
It's a new day in space exploration.
It's not just a big year for us on Earth. In October, NASA has plans to explore one of Jupiter's largest moons, Europa, to search for signs of water and life. And Japan is sending spacecraft to investigate the moons of Mars. But many are paying close attention to the launch of Artemis 2, a 10-day mission slated for November that will send 4 astronauts, including Canadian Jeremy Hansen, around the moon.
We're in this golden era of space exploration. There's all this technology that we didn't have before, and it feels like every year we make a new discovery that leads us to want to discover more.
And experts say 2024 won't be any different. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Regina.
Lots to look forward to, and that's a snapshot of this Wednesday. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Good night, and see you tomorrow.
CTV National News, Canada's #1 newscast.